Swedish politician Zaida Catalan was 35 years old when she started working for the UN in Congo. On March the 12th, 2017, she and her colleague Michael were led by a group of armed men towards a grove of trees. Zaida and Michael thought they were being taken to meet the group's leader. They didn't realize what the men were actually planning to do.
Det handlar först om Ebola-utbrottet i Kongo-Kinshasa. Smittan har nu nått storstan och blir därmed svårare att kontrollera.
Våldtäkter är en del av den osynliga krigföringen i östra Kongo.
Det här är ett av jordens kanske farligaste områden där sedan decennier tillbaka det pågår vad man kallar för ett afrikanskt världskrig.
Jag hade jobbat som volontär på ett katthem i Kalmar. Och jag hade kommit hem och klockan var någonstans 4:30 kanske, och vi började laga mat. Du får ta lite, har du tagit grädde? Men vi har lite paprika vi kan ta, va? Vi stod alltså i köket, både Elizabeth och jag. Elizabeth hade kommit hem över helgen för att vara tillsammans med mig då. Och då fick vi ett samtal och då ser jag att det är Zaidas telefonnummer, det kongolesiska numret. Och vi svarar och vi hör bara en massa män i bakgrunden. Och vi ropade hallå, hallå, och vi försökte på alla sätt för att få Zaida svara då. Men då hörde du någonting där.
Ja, där i slutet på samtalet, för vi lyssnade väldigt noggrant och hade på högtalaren.
Telefonen, ja.
Och jag tyckte att jag kunde urskilja någon sorts andning liksom. Så att jag förstod, åtminstone i slutet av samtalet, att hon fanns där.
Man vill ju alltid tänka sig att det har inte hänt någonting. Och Zaida sa alltid till mig under alla hennes uppdrag. Hon visste ju att mamma oroade sig. Mamma, man kan inte leva och vara rädd. Och det präntade hon in och sa det ofta till mig. Mamma, man kan inte leva och vara rädd.
The call from Congo lasted 72 seconds. Immediately afterwards, Catalan's mother mailed the UN headquarters in New York saying that her daughter might be in danger. 4 hours later, at 9:31 p.m., she received an answer.
Dear Madam Morseby, we wanted to acknowledge receipt of your message and to let you know that relevant security protocols have been activated to get in contact with Zaida.
Jag minns ju väldigt tydligt den här morgonen när det här beskedet kom. Vi sitter varje morgon, nu när vi är i säkerhetsrådet, och går igenom kriserna i världen, och så är det ju ett ständigt elände. Det är liksom många döda alltid, det är liksom humanitära katastrofer, det är bombattacker, det är terrorattacker och så vidare. Men det är liksom lite anonymt ändå. Det är siffror. Nu är det 35 döda, den här attacken där, hit och dit. Va? Men när det då, som den här morgonen, när det då plötsligt finns ett namn, en svensk person, va? Då går man in i först någon sorts chock, tror jag. Och då blir det plötsligt personligt. Med det uppdraget som de hade, då anar man ju liksom någonstans det värsta.
To the Democratic Republic of Congo, where it's been confirmed that 2 United Nations workers have also been kidnapped near the village of Ngombe.
And the UN also says the group was riding motorcycles through a heavily forested part of the country when they were captured.
À l'heure actuelle, les Nations Unies, tout comme la MONUSCO, font tout ce qui est en leur pouvoir pour localiser ces 2 experts.
On March the 13th, 2017, the search for Zaida Catalan and Michael SHARP got underway. Pictures of the missing Swede were spread across the globe.
Jag tycker det är oerhört diskriminerande mot homosexuellas rättigheter i samhället idag. Människor tycker inte om när man ser djur lida. Vill vi gå marknadens ärenden eller vill vi gå den lilla människans ärenden?
At the beginning of the millennium, Zaida Catalan headed the youth wing of the Swedish Green Party. She seemed destined for a brilliant political career. But suddenly she left politics and began working with human rights for the UN and EU in some of the world's most dangerous countries.
Det är en mänsklig rättighet att inte våldföra sig på någons integritet. Om vi vill möta varandra på grund av våra olika religiösa, kulturella, olika bakgrundsuppfattningar, då måste vi börja diskutera med varandra och inte...
Nu är det din tur, varsågod.
Zaida var 8 år äldre än mig och jag brukar alltid skämta med mina vänner att jag hade växt upp med 2 mammor. Hon var ju så oerhört beskyddande, intensiv i sin kärlek och omtänksamhet och väldigt uppfostrande också gentemot mig. Vi kunde ju bråka med varandra, men vi älskade varandra mycket intensivt också. Vi tog hand om varandra och jag menar, vi fixade varandras naglar, fixade håret på varandra. Det var väl just när hon slappnade av och hon kunde gå ner i varv som man liksom fick den här riktiga syster Zaida liksom tillbaka. Och det var ju den man längtade efter.
Minns du det sista mötet du hade med henne?
Vi firade jul ihop, jag, mamma och Zaida. Så att vi hade jag vet att Zaida var väldigt stressad. Jag vet att den här missionen tog mycket på hennes krafter, för hon jobbade så som hon beskrev det själv, nästan dag och natt. Och som anhörig som lever i trygga förhållanden och på ett annat sätt vardagsliv här i Sverige hade ju kanske svårt att relatera till det. Så hon berättade ju inte så mycket om exakt vad hennes mission innebar för oss i alla fall, familjen.
Det ska handla om den svenska kvinnan som kidnappas i Kongo-Kinshasa. Det är ju nu en vecka sedan hon kidnappades. Hon kidnappades tillsammans med en amerikan och 4 kongoleser som utredde en uppmärksammad massaker på civila som misstänks ha utförts av regeringssoldater. Och nu menar man från Human Rights Watch att man inte kan utesluta heller att det är den kongolesiska regeringen som också på något sätt kan vara involverad i det här.
Is this where you used to work mostly?
Yeah. It's important to start sort of giving the background of what the UN group of experts actually is. So basically this is a team of 6 people, and the specific role of the group is to help the Security Council to understand what's going on the ground, especially in terms of potentially sanctionable offenses. For that particular mission, they were teaming up as Michael being an expert responsible for issues relating to armed groups, and one person working on human rights issues, which was Zaida's portfolio.
Hon hade ju en uppgift som var känslig, det vill säga att hennes uppdrag var ju att borra vidare och försöka hitta skyldiga i allvarliga brott mot mänskliga rättigheter och humanitär rätt.
Hon fick fiender av det arbetet?
Ja, det kan man ju tänka sig.
The presence of UN experts was seen as a challenge by powerful people in war-torn Congo. When they disappeared, they were on their way to the village of Bokunde by motorcycle taxi. They were to meet with the local militia, Camino Insapo, which was fighting against the government. It was at 3:50 that afternoon that she'd made the phone call to her family on Öland. That was the last sign of life from Zaida and Michael.
It was March 13, which is our oldest daughter's birthday, and I usually call our children when it's their birthday. So I called her that morning, and first of all I said happy birthday, and then I had to tell her and that he was missing.
As they waited for news, the families in Kansas and Öland got in touch with each other for the first time.
There was an immediate bond because our young people, our children, were experiencing something together, and our children believed in the same kind of things.
Vi bad tillsammans böner för att Zaida och Michael skulle vara oskadda och komma hem.
So there we were for 2 weeks. We didn't know. Had he been abducted, kidnapped, held for ransom? Was he already gone? Did they kill him already? We didn't know for those 2 weeks.
Det hade gått lite mer än 2 veckor. Då knackar polisen på mitt i natten hos oss, och vi fick reda på att man funnit 2 stycken vita kroppar. Och det var väl då liksom andan gick ur oss. Man hade identifierat henne genom hennes tatuering som hon hade på sin högra handled, per aspera ad astra.
Genom svårigheter mot stjärnorna.
One and a half years later, the murder is still unsolved, and we are about to land in Kananga, central Congo. By following in the UN experts' footsteps, we hope to find the answer to the question, who is responsible for the murder of Zaida and Michael? Congo's history is a bloody one. During the colonial era, European rulers wiped out more than half the population. Since its independence, 2 heads of state have been assassinated, and an unfathomable over 5 million people have been killed in wars. That's why the UN's biggest peace effort, MONUSCO, is stationed here. But despite all this violence, what happened to the UN experts was unique. Not since Secretary-General Dag Hammarskjöld's plane crashed under mysterious circumstances at the Congolese border in 1961 have any civilian UN staff been killed in the line of duty like this.
He told us that his UN job was the safest job he'd had yet, because nobody harmed experts. Nobody.
We've brought with us to the Congo the contents of Zaida's computer and mobile phone, with the last photos she took. We also have thousands of classified documents, which were leaked to us from inside the UN. In the company of the UN's MONUSCO force, we venture out along the route Zaida and Michael took when they were murdered, on their way to the Bonkonde area. This is where the war broke out in 2016 between the army and the Kamina and Sapu militia. This film shows government soldiers murdering civilians who were later buried in mass graves. And the militia, consisting of many child soldiers, has in turn burnt down schools and churches and decapitated policemen. Close to this hospital lie several of the mass graves that Zaida and Michael had been investigating. But there are also survivors here.
And they attacked you with machete?
Further down this road, Zaida and Michael were found buried in a shallow grave. Both of them shot to death. We ask MONUSCO if we can go the whole way, but we don't get any further. It's too dangerous.
Alltså jag tycker fortfarande det är svårt det här därför att det är väldigt känslosamt när det är alltså Zaida hade en enorm, jag känner inte henne personligen, men det fanns en väldigt stark känsla av att det var liksom inte vem som helst heller, förutom att hon var svensk så var det också en person som verkligen brann, som gjorde, alltså någonstans riskerade faktiskt sitt eget liv för att hjälpa andra. Och det, så att, du vet det där, det ska verkligen här. Det kändes fruktansvärt bittert och deppigt.
Since the murder, the UN have been doing everything they can to learn the truth. Secretary General Antonio Guterres immediately set up an investigation. The man in charge of the investigation is a top US diplomat with years of experience from the UN and the State Department.
We have to do everything we can to safeguard our people.
I get it.
His name is Gregory B. Starr. Mr. Starr's instructions were clear. Examine the UN's procedures, verify all known facts about the murder, and if possible, point out the perpetrators. The families felt assured that the UN would do everything possible to get to the truth.
Vi kände oerhört stöd och oerhörd värme från många medlemsländer. Secretary General, här har jag det. Han skriver: Dear Mrs. Morseby, please rest assured that the United Nations remain deeply committed to ensuring that those responsible for the deaths of Zaida and Michael are brought to justice. Yours sincerely, Antonio Guterres.
But just as the UN began its investigation, important new information about the murder suddenly emerged from the Congo.
Vi fick ett samtal från FN där det framgick att man visste vilka mördarna var, att det fanns bevis. Det rörde sig om en avrättningsfilm på Zaida och Michael.
The video is 6 minutes long. It shows Zaida and Michael being led by a group of men. They're armed with rifles, machetes and knives. And they lead their victims towards a grove of trees. Then they're both shot to death. After that, a young man walks over to Zaida's body, decapitates her, and leaves the site, carrying the head. Everything's caught on video. Zaida's mother and sister decided to watch the video together.
Jag kände att jag ville veta vad som hände henne. Jag ville vara med henne där också i den stunden. Den var fasansfull. Men jag ville vara med henne där. Jag ville veta vad som hände. Det var min älskade dotter. Det var din älskade syster. Jag hade gärna bytt plats med henne. Jag hade gärna beskyddat henne om jag hade kunnat. Jag kunde inte det. Jag kunde inte hjälpa henne.
The disregard for decency to actually have this filmed and show it. There was the murder, yes. Now you have to show it. It's like it was another level of grief and anger for me.
The video was released by the Congolese government, claiming that they'd found it in a cell phone. They say the video is the ultimate proof that the Kamwina Nsapu militia was guilty of the murder. The video quickly went viral online.
Det gjorde mig vansinnigt upprörd och arg. Och jag ringde till ministern, till utrikesministern, och sa att det här måste ni bara se till att ni stoppar omedelbart. Och det är ett krav som vi har. För det viktiga var ju så fort att vi fick reda på att de hade blivit mördade, så gällde det ju att protestera mot det här, att hela världen gjorde det.
We released the video when lots of media and civil society organizations were accusing the government as being the ones who killed the 2 UN experts. The UN was not happy when we released it, but we had to do it.
And the video shows that the militia group Kamwina Nsapu that is behind the killings.
Yes.
How can you see that in the video?
Oh, they say it. They say it in the language. You can see it with the way they're dressed. They have red bands on their head. That was their trademark. So then they say it. They say, oh, long live Kamwina Nsapu, long live Kamwina Nsapu, while killing that ritual murder of the 2 UN experts.
This is the point at which the Congolese government wants this story to end. The UN experts went to a dangerous area on motorcycle taxis without protection and were murdered when they encountered a brutal militia. But there's something not quite right with the video.
I've been
collecting videos of exaction from this area. I have a lot of it now. None of the videos look like that.
Journalist Sonia Rollet has worked in the Congo for many years and had met Zaida and Michael the morning of their disappearance. She's examined every second of the video in detail. To gain a better understanding, we do something we really rather not. Watch the execution video.
Zaida only says one thing in the video, right?
Yeah.
Can we hear that?
Okay. Moi, j'ai des enfants.
She didn't have kids.
She didn't. But it's something that I would do as well. I mean, it means it's a way to say, like, I'm a mom. You are about to kill a mom.
This is just right before the shots.
Yeah, it's right before the shots. And this guy is going around and he's going to kill Michael. Just there. And then they're going after Zaida. And she's starting to flee.
She's running.
Second gunshot. Third time. Egg. No, they did. After that, it's the beheading. So, I mean, it's the worst part, I think, for me, but it's yeah.
With the help of linguists, Sonia Rollet has written down everything that's said in the video, word for word. This produced some remarkable results. What we hear on the video when the militiamen talk to each other in front of the camera is in the local language, Chiluba. But when an off-camera voice gives the order to shoot Zaida and Michael, it is in another language, the one used by the Congolese army, Lingala.
Every time he's saying shoot, somebody is shooting, actually. Like a well-organized operation with people that are used to answer to orders in Lingala, which is not Kamunetsapu. They won't speak Lingala. It's the pig language for them. They call it the language of the pigs. How can you give the order of killing somebody when you're not supposed to use that language?
The man who gives the order never appears in the video. And so far, no one has been able to identify him.
My question is, who recorded that? Who can plan this kind of murder? Who knew exactly where they will be at the time? And why nothing at the trial in Kananga is even trying to ask questions about that?
We're on our way to the military court in the city of Kananga. Here, the trial of the men in the execution video has reconvened after a year's suspension. The men from Kasaï-Central are on trial for terrorism for the murder of Zaida, Michael, and the 4 Congolese men accompanying them. The man in charge is General Mukuntu, the highest military prosecutor in the Congo.
La mort de leurs accompagnants est une résultante d'un conflit.
The defendants sit there in their blue prison uniforms. Amidst them stands the militia's leader, Vincent Manga. In the video, he has been identified as the man in the red coat.
Il ne fait peur à tout le monde. Tout le monde a peur de Maman.
The general puts pressure on the defendants to tell what they did with the remains of Zaida's body.
Que les machettes soient venues de vous. Comment on peut confirmer des choses à moins que vous nous dites que vous savez qui a amené les machettes, comme vous étiez là quand on a coupé la tête de Zaida.
But no one answers. The trial's been characterized by its dramatic twists and turns. A witness of the state was suddenly charged as a perpetrator. Other witnesses have disappeared without trace, and recently a militiaman said to have had crucial information about the murder died in prison. Several of the defendants have also testified to being tortured. It's difficult to separate what is true and untrue in the trial. We ask to meet with the general in charge of it. He points out that he doesn't like reporters, but agrees to meet us at 11 o'clock the next day. We check into the woodland guest house where Zaida and Michael had stayed before they were murdered.
Ils étaient vraiment comme tous les autres clients. Hein. On n'a pas beaucoup fait attention hein, à eux comme ils étaient normal. Hein.
We go through the leaked classified material from the UN. It gives a completely different picture than that presented in the trial. The leak consists of the material that UN investigator Greg Starr had access to, classified documents with information that has never previously been released. Like this document, which shows that the Congolese military had infiltrated the Kamina and Sapu militia and that the UN suspects that intelligence agents are behind the murder. The motive behind killing the UN experts, it says, was to prevent them from uncovering the military's mass graves. Much of the UN's information comes from confidential sources and doesn't constitute proof, but the leak also reveals an event that was directly related to the murder. It referred to a meeting at the very same woodland guest house on March the 11th, 2017, the day before Zaida and Michael went out on their last assignment.
Okay.
The images were on Zaida's phone, and we'd never have learnt what was said at the meeting if she hadn't secretly recorded the entire conversation.
Est-il combien? Tiré autant de photos.
Donc, peut-être on peut commencer en le présentant. D'abord, moi c'est Michael SHARP, c'est Zaida Catalan.
Bonjour. Bienvenue. Zaida.
Zaida and Michael are sitting at the table. Among those present is an elderly man representing the Kamina Nsapu militia. He doesn't speak French, but others are there to serve as interpreters.
Moi, François, c'est lui qui est resté pour la famille, la dynastie Kamina Nsapu, c'est bien qu'il représente.
On travaille pour le Conseil de sécurité des Nations Unies et dès qu'il y a des problèmes au niveau sécuritaire, on nous demande d'aller sur le terrain et parler avec les gens qui sont là, oui, avec la population, avec les parties prenantes. C'est important pour nous aussi de parler avec la famille.
Zaida and Michael want to make sure that it's safe to go to the village of Bonkonde, where Kamina Nsapu is located. They repeatedly take up the question of safety on their planned journey and are told they're welcome.
Mais en ce qui concerne les garanties, à Bonkonde pouvait arriver, il n'y a rien. Il n'y a rien. Et surtout si il y a un, deux ou trois de la famille Kamina Nsapu,
ils ne feront rien.
Ils ne feront rien. Vous passez sans problème.
Oui, non, on est prêt d'y aller demain. Si vous dites dimanche, c'est un bon jour d'y aller. On connaît les endroits, voir les médecins.
Merci.
Zaida and Michael thought they had clear guarantees from the elderly man. What they didn't know was that the interpreters had been tricking them. In secret, they were undercover agents of the Congo Security Service. This is quite clear from the leaked UN documents. In the UN's own translation of the recording, we see that the elderly man warns Zaida and Michael against going to the very place where they were later murdered. But none of his warnings were translated by the fake interpreters at the table. On the contrary, they encouraged the UN experts to go to Bonkonde.
Ils ne feront rien. Ils feront rien. Vous passez sans problème.
Zaida Catalan and Michael SHARP were tricked into traveling to a dangerous area by undercover agents from the Congolese Security Service. So, the question is, who actually gave the order to shoot the experts? It's 11 a.m. and it's time to meet General Mokontu. He is one of the nation's most powerful military figures and was sent down from the capital to solve the murder. The first thing we notice in his office is a motorcycle, which he tells us was the one Zaida was riding when she was captured.
Nous avons pu quand même mettre la main, entre-temps, sur les acteurs principaux de ces meurtres. Il y en a qui, pendant longtemps, n'ont pas voulu parler, mais petit à petit, ils commencent à dire certaines choses. Donc, je pense que nous évoluons et nous finirons par savoir exactement ce qui s'est passé.
General Mokontu doesn't know that we have access to the UN's classified investigation, which had identified the state's undercover agents. If we revealed that, it would put our sources in great danger, and possibly our team as well. Without going into detail, we asked the general what he thinks of the accusations that the Congolese state were involved in the murder.
Bon, vous savez, lorsqu'un crime est commis, la question que l'enquêteur doit se poser, c'est de savoir quel est le mobile du crime. Je ne vois pas pourquoi l'État aurait organisé ces crimes. Mais en tout cas, le fait que je sois là à Kananga, moi, le numéro 1 de la justice militaire du côté du parquet, ça désigne que c'est la volonté du gouvernement de faire toute la lumière sur cette affaire.
In August 2017, 5 months after the murder, the UN completed its investigation. Secretary-General Antonio Guterres presented the Board of Inquiry report to the Security Council. Through our leak, we've been able to see that the UN had access to information about the Congolese government's ties to the murder. All this could have been the focus of Greg Starr's report, but he chose a completely different track.
Using non-UN vehicles without a United Nations security escort, in spite of an earlier briefing against such activities, while not the cause of the incident, were factors that allowed bad actors to stop the vehicles and murder the 2 UN experts.
4 separate points in the report heavily criticise the UN experts' decision to use motorcycle taxis in their assignment. It stated that this breach of regulations was what allowed the murder to take place.
The investigation was shoddy. It was poorly done. It was unprofessional. Blaming the victim is the oldest cop-out in the world. You don't do that if you're doing serious work. He called them cowboys. Yeah. Irresponsible is what he meant. They're being irresponsible.
But he used the word
cowboys.
While heavily criticising Zaida and Michael, the 47-page report doesn't cast any suspicion on the Congolese state, saying further investigations are required and makes no mention of the undercover agents or the infiltration of the militia.
It is the judgment of the board that information circulating regarding the possible involvement of various government individuals or organizations does not provide proof of intent or motive on the part of any individuals.
Interprete de la famille, Camino Sapo, agente de ENR. Det är en skandal, tycker jag. Att man väljer att utesluta information på det här sättet.
För mig är det totalt obegripligt. Totalt obegripligt,
ja.
För det här är ju bevis för att de fördes bakom ljuset. Det fanns en agenda bakom det här. En allvarlig agenda.
Man är väldigt utsatt för att man vet ju ingenting. Och sen när man får reda på att det här har undanhållits, då blir man ju liksom förfärad. Är det så här det ska gå till? Och varför?
What reason could Greg Starr and ultimately the Secretary General of the UN have to cover up information about the murder of their own experts?
Jag vill inte uttala mig om det. Jag har inte uppgifter så att jag kan bedöma det. Men det är bra att kritiken framförs och att det kommer fram till generalsekreteraren som till sist har att hantera det materialet och den rapporten.
I'm actually in the Washington, D.C. area. I prefer doing interviews face-to-face rather than over the phone.
We want to understand Greg Starr's reasoning in his report to the Security Council. So we reveal that we have access to the classified material, whereupon suddenly he appears unwilling to meet us.
I think the report stands where it is. I think what I've said stands where it is, and I don't think going on camera is going to help.
There is much information pointing towards the government in the UN investigation. Why didn't you mention that this information existed?
The report does not mention a lot of information in it. I stand by what the report says. You know, that's the bottom line on this. The report does not exonerate the DRC government, nor does it say that they were guilty.
Starr also denies having called Zaida and Michael cowboys and says there just wasn't enough evidence to point a finger at the Congolese government in the report.
Did the Secretary General agree with your conclusions?
Apparently, yes.
So I was the coordinator at the group of experts in 2008. So I had Michael's position 9 years before he did. So I'm familiar with the kind of work that the group of experts does.
So we have this, right?
Jason Stearns currently heads the Congo Research Group and is the author of one of the most important books about the war in Congo. We show him the leaked material.
And this is like all the communication between JMAC, UNPOL, and the embassy.
To me, that looks very suspicious. You know, it's circumstantial evidence showing that the Congolese government may have been setting up Michael and Zaida to go to the very place where they were killed. And government's agents were involved in that very process. Greg Starr, I think, knew that when he wrote that report.
Yeah, that's what we can show with this material, that he had all this information that you're pointing out was on paper for the Board of Inquiry.
It certainly boggles the mind. He could have just said nothing. He could have just said, investigations are ongoing with regards to who killed Michael and Zaida. No, he didn't say that. He said, some people think the government may be involved in this, but we have no evidence to show that, which is, it looks like a lie. Why do it? Honestly, I don't know, but it's very strange. I think you have dedicated UN officials who are frustrated with their own system, who are leaking this because they don't have faith in their own system.
On site in the Congo, we meet civilian employees of the UN who are disappointed in Greg Starr's report. They say it was shameful to accuse Zaida and Michael because it's long been known that the UN experts use motorcycle taxis in the field.
We have been doing this for the past 15 years. Since the group of experts existed in 2004, it was difficult to get the job done in any other way. So yes, maybe we were taking excessive risks, that's possible. But this particular situation was not because of, they got killed not because they were being reckless. They got killed because somebody wanted to kill them.
When we travelled with the UN's armed patrol, the dilemma became clear to us. Since the UN works closely with the Congolese army, many people are afraid to talk about abuses by the military in the presence of other armed soldiers. It's not until we head out on motorbikes ourselves to the areas where the mass graves are located that we start hearing stories of what the Congolese army has really done. We find ourselves in the middle of a church service in a small village. Here, several villagers openly tell us about how government soldiers came into the village last year and fired wildly around the children. But to protect those who reveal this information, we didn't put their testimony on camera. At the trial in Kananga, we also realised the extent to which some officers are willing to go to conceal their ties to the murderers. Our camera caught a sequence that may turn out to be a turning point in our quest for the truth. This is Colonel Mambweni, an army commander who was summoned to the trial. A witness has said that prior to the murder, he'd been talking on the phone with Vincent Manga, the man in the red coat. The witness claimed they were talking about ammunition. The colonel denies it, and then later adds that his phone wasn't working at any time on the day of the murder.
J'étais sur la route Chikapa. Il n'y avait pas de réseau. Et à mon retour, d'abord il y avait un pompe de charge au téléphone.
But we know that isn't true. The UN's classified investigation includes hundreds of pages of Mambweni's phone calls. The documents show that in the days before the murder, he was in contact both with the fake interpreters from the security service and with militiamen from Kamina in Sapu. And his phone was not offline on the day of the murder. In fact, he had over 45 incoming and outgoing contacts that Sunday. At 5:25, his phone is online again. This was just a short while after the execution of Zaida and Michael. The call was connected via the cell tower on the route to the murder site. And it's the same cell tower area from which Zaida made her last call. It's hard to imagine why the UN would have any interest in covering up critical information and thus protect the Congolese regime. But several sources tell us that Star's report is part of a diplomatic game. This was confirmed when we learnt that the families had secretly recorded their meetings with the UN investigation.
När han kom och besökte oss då så kände jag att det kan vara värt att spela in för att vid behov i framtiden kanske ställa honom till svars för det, hans påståenden.
In the report we say, look, these are the people that killed them. We know who they are. They look like Camino and Sapo. I don't say, army or or things like that, because we want the Congolese to continue to work with us on this.
In the recordings, the UN investigator says it plainly. To ensure the cooperation of the Congolese regime, they have to avoid information that implicates government involvement in the murder.
We're running a fine blade here because I do think that ultimately this report will get in the hands of the Congolese. If they ask for it, they get it. We don't want to make the report so bad that they cease cooperating on it. There's a line that I don't want to cross, in terms of implicating them or anything.
But a year and a half later, it's hard to see the results of this silent diplomacy. And the families feel betrayed by those who promise to do everything in their power to uncover the truth.
We don't want to mess up diplomacy and what they're working at behind the scenes, okay? However, I also don't want a report to contain lies about what happened. I don't think you have to lie to be diplomatic.
In his private meeting with the families, Starr even withheld the most important pieces of information he had. Everything that showed that Zaida and Michael were lured to the village where they were executed.
On March 11th. That entire meeting was recorded, and we have a transcription of that meeting. I think Michael and Zaida may have made a strategic or tactical mistake in thinking that the area that they were going to go in was better controlled.
The Board of Inquiry lied to us about what was on that tape. They knew on this tape that they had been misled, and they did not tell us that. In fact, they led us to believe that they didn't do enough, in their preparations.
It's blaming the victim again.
They're avoiding pointing the finger at people that they have proof were involved.
Jag tror att man måste hålla en sak i minnet. Det här var mord. Det var mord på 2 FN-experter. Man kan inte lägga skulden på någon annan än på mördarna. Och nu gäller det att hitta dem.
Jag är stolt över att vara svensk och när jag ser vilka fantastiska människor, alltså Dag Hammarskjöld och Zaida Catalan, det är 2 människor som helt besjälade av den här idén att vi har ett ansvar som medmänniskor att göra det bästa vi kan för att göra livet bättre för andra, även i farliga, svåra situationer. Men jag tänker också att det är förskräckligt att i båda de 2 fallen har vi fortfarande inte full klarhet i alla omständigheterna.
Jag såg att hon var nöjd med sina uppdrag och hon utförde det hon ville. Då kände jag mig väldigt lycklig för hennes skull. att hon gjorde det hon var besjälad av. Jag har med henne varje dag, men ibland måste jag göra en liten paus för att orka med att fortsätta leva. För det är svårt. Den ligger så långt in, den där lilla stenen där.
Man måste plantera om blommorna. Höstblommor. Nej, men det är ju såklart mycket man vill säga och saker som man har sagt som man vill på något sätt få ogjort. Och berätta hur mycket man älskar henne igen. Det är ju det. Sådana löjliga saker egentligen som kan hända. Men man tror ju det. Man tror att man har så mycket tid att lösa saker och ting och prata.
He was just a delightful person. He was just kind and thoughtful and funny and yeah. The absence of his presence is just forever with us.
He also said at one point, I certainly have no death wish, but neither am I afraid to die. The burden I carry, he said, is what this would do to my family. And we're carrying that burden.